Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm gonna give myself a pat on the back for already posting 3 videos for the year, and it's barely the second week in January, so kudos to me. I'm sticking with it. Okay, so this video is going to be my January budget and payday routine because I already got paid my first paycheck for the month. So I'm gonna take you through what it is that I have allocated for the month of January. Are there any deviations that I might make, even though it's the first month of the year, first budget of the year, and what I've already allocated towards my goals, what I've already allocated to my bills, etc., etc. So I'm not going to dilly dally for too long. I'm just going to get right into it. And the first portion, I like to write everything out on paper and then take it to my actual expense tracker. So we're gonna get into that right now. Okay, so back into my financial book. If you recognize this page, you saw the last video. All right, so let's get into it for January. These are the quadrants that my finances are mostly divided into, and I know you're seeing bills and expenses and wondering what those are. As I go through them, you will see what the difference is, where the differences lie. Okay, so for my bills, that's going to be my car insurance. And you may have heard me say I don't have a car right now, but I still pay the liability insurance because I do drive my partner's vehicle. And if something was to ever happen, I want to be covered. So I still pay that. And it is high as hell. Might as well have a car. So that's $82. My rent is $700. Oh, let me put this over here. $700. And utilities come up to about $30. And my living situation is a bit different. I live full-time with my partner, but currently for my job, I am based in California. So I do have kind of a communal living situation going on. So that's why my rent is so high, or so low, I should say. And then utilities is low as well. But I do not pay bills as it stands right now, where I currently live on paper, if that made any sense. Okay, so this is it for my bills. And switching over to my expenses. So again, I have my me category, and that's what I give myself to spend. So whether it's dining out, whether it's something that I'm saving for, I do give myself $250 for groceries. I allocate $100. I will probably need to up this because the past few months my grocery bill has been over $100. So I'm gonna see if I can keep it under 100 for this month, and if not, I'll adjust going forward. And transportation, I do take public transportation to and from work where I am based. So that is set to $75. That includes taking the train, the bus, or Ubering back and forth if those aren't an option. Okay, so I guess I could tell you. Okay, and then I'm gonna get into my debt because that's a long list of things, and then lastly my savings. So for my debt, let me go into the difference between my bills and my expenses. So my expenses are things that varies month to month. I want to keep it as a fixed expense, but like I said, for example, my groceries, I have noticed the number varying a bit over the past few months. So I'm gonna start it with $100, see if I can keep it under that, and if not, I'll adjust. But also it depends on how much I'm working during that month. So I don't want to say a fixed amount and spend that much when my food goes, if my food goes bad and stuff like that. So I'm going to keep it at 100. My bills are now things that are fixed. So I guess you could say fixed expenses and variable expenses. So my car insurance, that's not going to change. Well, except for this 82. There's a $10 late fee because I paid my last month late. And then my rent doesn't change. Utilities are always around $30. So that's the difference between what I consider my bills and what I consider expenses. Okay, so next are my debt. So my first bill is my Victoria's Secret, and Victoria's Secret is rough around $50 a month. But because I'm doing the Avalanche debt payoff method, this is my bill with the highest interest rate. So along with the $50 payment, I'm adding an extra $50. That will be a booster to paying this card off. And then I have my Suncoast card, which is $35 a month. I have my Capital One, my first card, which is $40 a month. My second Capital One, calling that card number 2, which is also $40 a month. My Ulta, which is also $40. And then these are my cards. Oh, one last one, Chase, is, I'm gonna say it's $35. It's less than that. It's less than $35, but I'm paying more just to pay it off. I'm ready to be done with debt. Okay, so these are all my cards. Next are my student loans. So I have Sally Mae. So that's $226. And Nelnet, which is $117, and Advantage is rounding to $250. So I don't feel like calculating that in my head, so I'm gonna grab my calculator. So that comes up to $883. Okay, and then lastly, my savings. So for travel, which is my first one, is trying to allocate $70 to that. And nest egg, $150. Taxes, allocating $70 as well. I'll keep my thought till the end. Self, 70. Winter gear. This is for buying winter specific clothing because that can be very expensive. So I have a sinking fund that I am dedicating towards buying quality winter gear instead of just buying the cheaply made stuff that don't really last, because I want to buy it once and don't have to worry about it for another 5 to 10 years. So that is also $70. My Roth IRA is $70, and my individual, well, I upped this to $70, and I'll explain in just a second. My individual brokerage account, let me just put that there. Brokerage is getting $50. So let me add this all up. This comes up to $550. So the reason why this all comes up to $70 is because roughly over the past few months that I've started to have my savings direct deposited into my Ally account, which is where all of these are housed, it's been roughly about $70 per month. So it will be more at times, but the minimum is going to be $70, which is what I found it adds up to since November and December, which is when I opened up the account. And except for my nest egg, this is going into my Marcus account, which is a high yield savings account, along with my Ally Bank. So all of these are sitting in a high yield savings account. Okay, enough rambling. I am going to add these up to see what my total amount for January is going to be. Okay, so January's total budget allocations comes up to $2,000 and $2,040. I don't know why I just blanked. Okay, so I'm gonna take you over now to my expense tracker and budget to show these numbers, how they look, and what I've already paid for and allocated so far. Here you guys are. You're taking a look at my expense tracker, which I made, so I am very proud of it. So, okay, let's get into this. So I have a tad bit of money rolling over from last year, which is $346. That will be used towards one of my student loans that I took over from my mom, which we had some trouble trying to get into the account. And it took her a while to get the information that I needed. So there's 2 payments that are missing. So this money is going to go towards that. But just for right now and for numbers' sake, disregard everything I just said. Okay, so my first paycheck came in. It was $868.58. My pay is a bit different than the typical pay you might be used to. So I guess I can get into what it is that I do for a living. So I am a flight attendant, and I just started last year. And so I am in the very beginning of my career as a flight attendant. So the money it's okay. It's not the greatest, not what I'm used to, but the pay is different. So how we get paid is a little bit different than what people might be used to. So you get paid once a month, which is the 3rd week of every month, but you can also elect to have a advancement paid. So you don't get, it's not divided into 2 paychecks or 2 evenly paychecks. So you get allocated a specific amount based on the amount of hours, quote unquote hours. I'm not going to get into our pay structure. It's very confusing. I'm still figuring it out. But you get paid up to 40 hours, and roughly mine comes out to $1,000 minus all of the taxes and deductions that will be taken from that specific paycheck. All right, so I have a running tally right here that will tell me how much money I have remaining once I start deducting stuff. So it's adding this and what I've already inputted. So as far as my savings, my travel has received $20 already. My nest egg has received $86.86. My taxes account has received $20. For my self account, $20, and for my winter gear, $20. So these 4 accounts are always going to mimic each other as far as the amount that's being deposited. Excuse me. All right, so over here, my car insurance hasn't been paid yet, rent hasn't been paid yet, utilities haven't been paid yet. That will come later. So of course the total is 0. The only thing that I have paid so far is my Chase account, which was 15. The remaining 20 is going to come from my next paycheck. Go over to my expenses. So far, my budget is $100. I've already spent $72.56, but it looks kind of scary because it's only the first week of January, but I will be going home to my actual home the end of the month, and I also have a trip planned. So this might very well be on target. Subscriptions, I've already paid $36.24 on prescription. This isn't in the budget yet because there were some things that I was charged for from my partner. It got charged on my card, so that's there. Shopping, which is essentially my me category for my budget, but I'm just having this, I'm just calling it shopping because more than likely I'm shopping. So that's $250. And dining out should probably be lumped into this, but it isn't as of right now. So that is $51.57 that I've spent so far. And if I add these up, I spent $180 within those two categories already. Dining out was because I had a trip New Year's Day and I did not plan any food, so I had no choice but to eat out. Hobbies and health, those are categories that I tend to spend in. Those I haven't spent anything as of yet. Actually, I have. Down here is all the expenses that I've made so far. So my subscriptions, the food that I bought, everything that I've made so far. Okay, so the hobby that I spent on isn't actually in here yet. So once that's updated, it will be reflected here. Down here is my Roth IRA. Excuse me. Down here is my investment portion. So the only thing that has received any type of money so far is my Roth IRA, which is $50. I should probably have my individual account posted here, but I do have a Robinhood and I do have a Webull. I don't know when I'll start posting in there yet, but it's coming. And then so over here, which is my overall spending, it's aggregating everything that I've spent so far. So savings, I've already put away $166.86 into my savings. My bills, nothing has really been paid out yet. Debt, just $15. Expenses, $289. Investment, $26.06. So yes, so that is what we spent so far out of the $800 that I've been paid. And down here is just aggregating everything that I spent because I want to see where my money is going. So what am I spending so much on that I might be in denial to? So Medium is a kind of a blog site that I have a subscription to. I have a subscription to the New York Times. I went to Chipotle. I have Acorn. I'm being charged for Acorn and I don't know why. So I'm going to cancel that, pull my money out and probably put it into one of my investment accounts. Uber Eats, Target, Afterpay. I do use Afterpay. You're not gonna, do not judge me. And Amazon, etc., etc. So if I scroll up to my little dashboard here, it gives me a high level view of what I've spent so far or where the money has gone. So savings, income. Oh, this is all the way wrong. Because it's adding 26 and it shouldn't. So let's change this to 25. There we go. All right, so debt, pay down $15, expenses $289, total debt, that's going to be updated later, 26. And then down here, there's this pie chart that's showing me where my money's going as far as my investments, my expenses, my savings, my debt. And then this right here is tracking how I'm doing as far as my savings goals and my sinking funds. So traveling, I've already had some money allocated there. So budgeted is 70 and an actual. So there's that. And over here is my money flow. So this table down here where I really want to see where everything is going. It's just giving me a direct visual of how that looks. So yeah, so that is my January budget breakdown and first payday routine. And yeah, really enjoying what I'm doing so far and posting these videos, holding myself accountable. And I'm very excited for this year. I just know this year is going to be really good as far as my finances go. So let me know how you guys are budgeting. Are you doing something hybrid like me, using a digital and paper planning? Or are you mostly paper? Or are you mostly digital? Let me know how you work. And thanks for watching. I'll see you in my next video.